One last thing here before we go without it. Okay. We are in a summer series on the book of Revelation and walking through it. Powerful book, lots to it, a lot of details, a lot of connections from the Old Testament, New Testament, a lot of connections from the culture, the time and the place and the people. And so it definitely is a complicated book. But with all that's going on in the world right now, you can't listen to any part of the news without wondering, is the end near? People ask me that all the time. And so my answer to that is, well, let's talk about Revelation. See what does the Bible say about the end of the world? Keep in mind with all of this, you can't read Revelation in a vacuum. You really have to be able to connect all those dots from other parts of the Bible. That's what I'm going to try and do as we go along. John, who is the author of this, had much more in-depth knowledge of the scriptures. I mean, he'd learned from Jesus. He had studied that. He knew that. And also, he was living in this time, in this place. He understood a lot of these references. And so even when he is trying to convey stuff, he's trying to convey it in a way that he understands it's going to make sense to the original audience. We're not the original audience. None of us are. This was never intended to be the original audience for people 2,000 years later. But it does fit very well for us today, and it is important for us today. That's why we're going to go through this. This Sunday, we're on Revelation 14. Last week, Revelation 13 is where we saw the beasts, the Antichrist, 666. Today, Revelation 14. I'm going to start verses 1 through 5. Then I looked, and behold, him standing on Mount, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. I heard the voice of harpists playing their harps. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who followed the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they are without fault before the throne of God. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Now, in the past, we had talked about people will either get the mark of the Lamb or the mark of the beast. This is talking about 144,000 who all commission. The idea of from their harvest, they would take the first part of the harvest, best part, and give it to God as a lot more than those fruits given God. Verse. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth,